Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. This is Shirley Husar, and you are watching Shirley's World. So, hey, family, I haven't been on for a while. I've been working and dealing with life and not working and dealing with COVID like everybody else. So, I thought I'd do a movie review, and I don't do movie reviews because I wanted to feel good. I mean, I really wanted to feel good. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to cry. I wanted to emotionally put myself somewhere else outside of all the crap going on in California, then the snow in Texas, and the immense growing homeless community and the mole community, which is another video of people living under the sewers in Los Angeles and throughout the country. That's a whole nother video. But I wanted to tell you some background stories of the new Amazon Coming to America 2 with Eddie Murphy and everybody you can think of is in this movie. So, the spoiler alert, if you have not watched Coming to America 2, then you might want to shut this video off and go watch it and then come back because I'm just going to talk. My reviews, I'm not going to tell you the premise of all that because I think there's enough people who, if you have not seen Coming to America and you're living under a rock, something's wrong with you. So please go see it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, Coming to America. Coming to America 2, oh, this is a whole nother conversation. Because again, I wanted that good feeling with all that's going on from working and not working and all that's going on. I think we all need humor because humor is healing. And I think Americans and everyone want to be healed right now, right? So you're going to hear a lot of controversy over this movie just because it was really, here comes spoiler, that bad. It was so disappointing for me. I'm like, this movie is bad. I mean, I didn't really even laugh that much. I just couldn't believe it. And so I had to really take back and say, let me look at this from the full embodiment of this movie and say what's missing. And humor is missing, and good writing is missing. So you have to understand when and being raised and born in California, everybody wants to be a star, but with everything that you do, you have to have a baseline. So in script writing, it's crucial that you have a great script. And the great sequel comes from a great foundation of a great script. Good sequels to me are Back to the Future. Every time they came with a new one, the way that it was written, like they took their time to make sure that that second sequel overlapped the first sequel, but may not be as good as a movie that it can stand on its own merit. Toy Story is another one. When every time they came out with a sequel, it may not be as good as the first sequel, but it can stand on its own merit. This thing can't stand on two legs if it had a leg, because there was just so many cameos in it and so many other things that just didn't make sense. But I want to tell you a little backstory about this man who allegedly says he was the original writer. And I think it comes down to the writers of this project. And I wanted to kind of share that with you. Thank you so much for coming in. Hi, how you doing? Muford, what's been going on, my friend? What's been going on? We out here hustling like everybody else, trying to get things going. And I just kind of wanted to share with you some of the things, see if I know how to work this video camera real quick. They changed some of the StreamYard things here. What do they do? Um, to Mike, share screen, invite people. Ooh, so they changed some stuff on this. I wanted to show you. Hold on, hold on. Oh, I can do this. Wait a minute. I should know better than this. I should test this before I went live, but I'm gonna go. Y'all just go with the flow for those who want to stand here and watch this video with me. This is interesting. This is interesting. Okay, so apparently you guys can hear me, but I can't get any picture to show. This is really strange. Okay, I'm going to go out and come back in. Okay, so I went out and came back in. StreamYard has changed their setup, so I'm not able to show you articles. So I'm going to try to explain this the best that I can. There was a gentleman who basically wrote this article. Wrote the screenplay for this movie, Coming to America 2. And he sued Paramount and he sued Eddie Murphy and he sued the original writers. And I think you guys should research that story out because that gentleman's passed away. He died in 2016. His name, hold on a second. I want to pronounce it correctly. That's why I'm not saying his name, but I wanted to pronounce it correctly. So hold on. Let's see. I'm going to play with this a little bit. And then can you guys tell me if you can hear this or not? Hold on. I'm just going to play it and see if you can hear it.
The writers on the original film, David Sheffield and Barry W. Blaustein, are also returning, but it remains to be seen if their script will include a knowing nod to the iconic 1988 comedy's other Jewish legacy, a lawsuit that pit humorist Art Buchwald against Paramount.
Okay, so his name was Art Buchwald. Could you guys hear that? Yes or no? Can someone just in the comments section say yes or no or yes? Someone asked about Mr. T. West. Mr. T. West is no longer on YouTube. He is moved on to Twitch. So yeah, old school. So anybody in the comment section, if you can let me know if you can hear when I play the articles. La 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 la. He said, "Coming to America really is not fat bad." He said fat. Maybe even said that bad. I like him much. It wasn't that bad. No, I agree with it. It wasn't that bad. Did it make me laugh a lot? No, it did not make me laugh. So I'm going to just tell you twofold. Do the homework on Art Buchwald because he is one of the original screenplay writers. He actually wrote it and they said he sued Paramount and he sued Eddie Murphy and those other two writers saying that they stole his concept and his idea. And Eddie and them said, no. He never was on the picture. He never wrote it. This was all about us. Now, I question that now because Eddie and them kept saying, no, it's not true. And the reason why I say I question that now is because the way this movie was written, it didn't have that witty humor, spontaneous feel to it. And if the original writers, like I told you, when you look at sequels, if it's the same team, which is like the same machine, you should get some kind of quality movie out of it. I felt this was like a kitchen sink where everybody wanted to be in it. It had more cameos than God could allow. I didn't care for the CG effect of the flashback Murphy's face and Arsenio Hall's face. That was like they could have kept that out. Wasn't feeling that at all. I think that if they had better writers, they had Tracy in this. They had so many amazing actors in this movie that you should have got some good humor in it. Tracy Morgan's in it. Leslie Jones is in it. I mean, you've got these people who are just naturally crazy and funny. They didn't even use the full capacity of what they could have done with Vanessa Bell Calloway. She just came off cuckoo in the movie. She didn't really have any. She was just there. She was just kind of like there. And then all of a sudden they had Gladys Knight, and then they had Morgan Freeman. I'm like, why are these people in this movie? It made no sense. It just didn't have a right flow. Like I said, if you're on the rock, if you've seen Coming to America 2, I'm talking about Coming to America 2, and I'm just sharing my concepts and my personal input of what I got from this movie. I wanted to be laughing my ass off. I wanted to be crying my ass off. I didn't get that. All I got was like, let's start off with all these different cameos. I think they wanted to make it super PG friendly. Just to give you a little more back end story, how much money they made. I think that Eddie was able to sell it according to researching this out. They made $125 million that he sold this to Amazon Studios. So I mean, they made a grip load of money. These people should have been paid very well because it sold for 125 million. The first script was written by 3 writers, and then the second script, which was for the Coming America 2, was written by 5 writers. And one of the writers, and I'm not a King fan. I know, no offense to this man, I just wasn't impressed with his writing and some other stuff. And so when they added him on, I go, okay, now this guy's writing this. So you know the guy who writes Blackish, and he wrote Black F.A. If you ever watched Black F.A., I just didn't feel that was real black people. I mean, it was like these rich black people with their kids cursing at them. You know, it's grand and delusional to me. It's like that's not how black people families are. It wasn't like that. But Keenan Barry's Kenya Barry. I think that's how you say his name. Hold on, let me Google it. Let me highlight it. And I'm sure you guys have seen this guy. He wrote on this script, so he got a check.
Kenya Barris.
Okay, Kenya Barris. No, I didn't say the man's name all wrong. I say your name's wrong. Don't feel bad. I apologize. And I'm sure he's good at what he does, and he's very respected and noted for what he does. I'm just not a fan of his work. Doesn't mean that he's not good. I same thing with Blackish and Grownish and all of that. I just don't find that real authentic black humor, but other people may disagree with me, but it's okay. But anyway, he's one of the writers that are noted on here. Look, if you watch Coming to America, what I got from this is that the foundational premise of it is always the writing, the wittiness of the writing, the different characters. And to me, this was like just throw as many cameos from the previous movie into this movie. Let's create a storyline that ties them together. And then let's take cliches from movies that are from other movies in this movie. Did anybody else catch that? Or am I on this by myself? I thought that was kind of weird. So let me ask you guys, has anybody seen this that's in the chat room right now? If you can say yes or no. I do see that let's see, Coming to America is really not yeah, you say it wasn't that bad because it had Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes is good. I mean, he's a great actor. Did they use Wesley Snipes to his full capacity? Yeah, I just that part where the daughter is fighting Wesley Snipes, and the children casting was good. So let's look at the good. It was good to see everybody again. It was good to see the kids who played his kids. I thought they were cast well. The daughters, the oldest daughter that he has, beautiful little chocolate girl. I mean, I wanted to be that powerful Supergirl. I loved her. I liked the scene with her and Wesley fighting, and she said, "Let's see if we can negotiate something going on." I don't even know what they negotiated because they never even clarified that part of the movie. There were a lot of things that were just not clarified for me. Coming to America, he really come to America? No. Coming to Africa, that would have been more of a better kind of a statement to say coming to America than saying going to America. Coming to Africa would have been better. Because by the end of the movie, he done brought everybody who was a character into Africa, and Zumanda, and then he brought them all in, and they all got together at the end, and his son gets married to not the girl who was intended, but someone else. Let's see, Rihanna Teller was in it. I love her; she's great, and she did her role well. I just was so disappointed because I wanted to laugh more. I wanted to laugh more when they were outside with the lions and the kitty litter situation when they were giving cat food on the bamboo. I wanted to laugh more. That wasn't funny to me. When he was trying to tell his dad how to act real swag. Let's talk about the costumes, which I thought were beautiful. Ruth, shout out to Ruth. I thought she did a great job. She also did it for Black Panther. I think where I didn't like the costumes was the American side. It looked gimmicky to me. with all those different colors. They were homage back to the original show of 1988. He looked like he was still trying to dress like that, which made no sense because he was trying to, fit in then. Well, if he was trying to fit into today's time, he should have had something more relevant. And then they were trying to design like an African attire versus rural African attire. So that was kind of clashing in my mind when I was watching the movie there. I remember I thought, let me make a note of that. That was kind of interesting. See what else. I encourage people to go. You guys need to go just watch it, and maybe I'll come back and I'll bring somebody on and see if I can show you some other things. But look up this gentleman's name who I have in the chat room and in the title, and tell me what you think. Tell me, do you think that the writing could have been better? I think the writing could have been better. I mean, the guy who originally wrote the screenplay that they might have taken from, again, that's still a controversial story. He's dead now. He died in 2007, and he is 81 years old when he died. So they couldn't really pull from him. But I think they had all male writers. I think they could have pulled a woman writer in there, and they could have pulled some more comedians who are active on the scenes, who are more urban. I think that would have helped that. But, oh, hold on. Somebody's saying something. I gotta get some water. My throat's dry. Okay. So Don says, I feel like they should redo Coming to America 2. Oh, no. Don't even, you tell them to redo America 2? Okay, my friend. Just not so many writers. All you needed was 3. I feel like the movie that they did, a corny criminals. Well, it was definitely corny. That part, I like what you said. I definitely agree with you on that. You also said they made it for everyone to watch and not so much for our family. Okay, let me address that issue because I thought that was a very good point. And they needed Samuel Jackson. Thank you. Where the hell was Samuel Jackson? And where was Eric and the sister? They said they had some issues with that actress, so they didn't bring her back. Let your soul glow. They ain't bringing none of them people back either. And I thought that would have been kind of an homage, especially when she said, well, you weren't the first man I slept with. He said, what? And she said, let me remember who you took me away from. And they could have referred back to that. You remember? So that would have been funny. Hold on. Man, my throat got dry all of a sudden. You said something. Okay. I'm going to go back to what you said. You said they made it for family. It was clearly for family. You remember? Okay, so I get spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, y'all need to go see it. You remember that scene where the washers and the bathers came out? They came and they bathed and they washed you, right? So the washers and the bathers came out, y'all, and they were fully dressed. The girls had little bikinis on. They didn't show no ass. They didn't show no tits. Now, I'm strictly diggly. I love black men and I love men, but let me tell you why that scene was crucial, because it was hilarious. It just threw you off in the first movie. You're like, oh my God, these naked women, came out of the water saying your royal penis is clean. I love that. I wanted that same scene. I wanted him to be taking a bath, and all of a sudden these women get in. He's like, oh, what's going on? That would have been funnier. And I'm not even a script writer, but they could have still used that. And then maybe show the backside of these women instead of showing their breasts, if you're not going to let any nudity be shown. But they would have showed, you would have got the point, oh, they're in there doing something with these women. But again, he was trying to make it PG friendly, which I don't know why, because Amazon's got crazy crap on there that ain't PG friendly. So I totally agree with that. Okay, what do you say? Okay, Don says, Eddie fought for Samuel Jackson in that. Yes, right. I know what you're talking about. With Samuel, when he fought with him in that McFlurry or McDonald's scene, right? He came in and he was the gunman. Maybe he couldn't get Samuel Jackson. So maybe Samuel said, look, I'm done. I did that, done that, got the Cuban doll. Maybe he didn't want to come back. I don't think he wanted to come. Shit, I'm glad the brother didn't come back, because he ain't missed much and he sure didn't need the money. The man's the hardest working man in America. So if the hardest working man in America didn't sign back up, that was a red flag. And I just didn't get the fact of bringing Gladys Knight. I didn't get that either. They had Gladys Knight and they had Salt and Pepper. I'm like, what? In Vogue? Why? it just didn't make any sense. Like just find some singers. It didn't even, those people were in the original movie. None of their songs were in the original movie. So did you just like these people and they needed a check and they're your friends? You want them in it? I didn't get it. I just didn't get that part. That was crazy to me at all. And what's with the CG on the face? I'm still gonna go back. So there's a flashback scene with how this boy was created because they had to figure out how they gonna get him born, right? So apparently, Arsenio Hall got Eddie Murphy, Akeem, on weed, and he got him all drunk and high, and he didn't realize he was fucking a woman. He forgot he fucked this woman. Okay, I don't know anybody so high that they don't remember screwing somebody. But anyway, needless to say, that's how they scripted it. And so she started smoking weed. Tracy jumped on him, and they had sex. And then he says, "I remember now," because he was so high. He said he didn't remember then, and that's when they said the baby was made. And this when this boy was created. But to get to all of that, they had to do all this CG face imaging, and that just was like cray cray for me. That was cray cray for me. So I didn't like that either. And it was so cheaply done. I go for 120 and some $1 million. That didn't work for me. Okay, I seen The First Coming in America. The pilot twist took a major turn. That crazy. What do you mean by that? The 49 rot tomato. Yeah, it got 49 rotten tomatoes. You talking about the second one or the first one? Because the first one was brilliant. That's where everyone was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait! I can't wait!" I'm telling you, I wanted to feel good. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to crack my ass up. I couldn't do that with this movie. This movie was, oh my god, Jesus, take the wheel, and it was almost 2 hours long. I mean, I had to check myself twice. Like I'm looking on my phone about to play a game. I said, "Okay, you guys are not pulling me in on this movie." It just had too many dry scenes. Even scenes with him and his wife. That actress is beautiful, and I mean, but again, it was just like a Melba piece of toast. That's the best way to describe this movie. This movie is a piece of Melba toast. So if you like Melba toast, this would be good for you. If you don't like Melba toast and you don't feel like it had any bite to it, that's kind of like what you're dealing with this movie. It just did not have that feel that it could have had and could have done better. And that's all I can tell you guys. Go watch the movie. Let's come back. And I really think you should watch this one. Oh, let me give some suggestions of good movies. That since we're all home quarantined, for some of us who are in California with crazy Gavin Newsom, that's a whole nother conversation. Tell me at the bottom of this thread, because I am determined if I'm going to leave this video up or not. But I want to start talking about the mole people, and I haven't done it yet, but look up the mole people. We're going to do a video now. Now, the mole people are the people who are living in the sewers right now. So, Gavin Newsom and Nancy Pelosi and this new president has agreed and allowed the borders to be open and people walking in. So now we've got more people coming in here with COVID from other countries, but I don't know if you guys are familiar with the MOLE people. The mole people are the people that go under the ground. And when they go under the ground, what they do is they live and create homes for themselves. And a lot of people don't realize that there are people living underneath your apartments and under your houses. And you're paying taxes for that land above, but they get to live below for free. So I think that we should talk about that. We should also talk about the fact of the forbearance market. I haven't done a lot of real estate videos, but I'm going to do a detailed explanation of the forbearance market. And that's the real estate market that is going to probably end up crashing, which I really believe, because the federal government has told all these people not to make any mortgage payments, which people are not making their mortgage payments, and their credit's going to shit, and they're spending their stimulus packet money to eat and live, but they're not keeping in mind that they still have to come up with that whole year mortgage or a year and a half mortgage that they have not been paying on. And the stimulus bill that is currently in place right now does not foresee to help the forbearance payments of the previous months that have already passed for tenants and for people who own properties. So I am going to go and do a breakdown conversation about that. I want to leave you with 2 movies to watch. This has a lot of spoilers in this video, so if you come in, Mr. Space, late, please let me know. Dad says, I love your channel. Thank you so much. I know I haven't done a lot of videos, so I've been out of the loop. Just been doing too many other things. I'm not going to promote negative energy. I'm not going to sit back and talk about Trump lost and Biden won. It is what it is. We all got to live our life. I'd rather do videos to kind of help y'all emotionally tie yourself back into reality, because there's just too much other bullshit out there. People talking about Dr. Seuss. Who gives a fuck about that? Well, I'm trying not to curse. I mean, I think that's irrelevant. People need to pay their bills. They need to figure out how to maneuver through all this craziness with either being locked down or not locked down, from one state opening totally up to another state mocking each other. I mean, these leaders are playing with our lives to the point that now we're talking about transgenders and gays again. A population that's only 1 to 3% on the population in this country. When we have other issues like homelessness and disease that are growing on a rapid pace. We talk about the virus of COVID-19. What about the viruses that could be growing under the ground? And what I've talked about in previous videos, when I talked about hepatitis A, Black Plague, and all these other diseases that are still rapidly growing out there. If you have a health and sanitation issue, America, you can't continue to ignore it and sweep it under the rug and now let it grow into your pipelines and under your grounds. Eventually, it's going to grow and it's not going to be a pretty sight. So I think that that should be more of our conversation, but America doesn't feel that way. So if we're not going to talk about real issues in this country, then I do say go to T West. He is on Twitch. Continue to follow Phil. Phil's great. YouTubers to watch. Look up a guy named Ken McElroy. If you look up Ken McElroy, he's a financial advisor. If you want to know a political twist to financing with politics, watch a guy named Meet Kevin. I love Meet Kevin. Meet Kevin's like, I love how Meet Kevin is able to do his show and then he'll go look at other shows and he listen to the financial head of the financial department the other day talking about the stock market and what's going on with the stock market and all the crashing that's about to occur, and looking at some of the stocks that could be like The Big Short. If you haven't seen the movie The Big Short, go see that movie and then you'll understand kind of like how this market is similar to '08 and '10. I believe it is, but I think it's going to be worse because I think people have emotionally been set up to stop making payments. And if you're one of those people, your credit's already shot and the banks will be coming after you. So you've got to have a plan of action. Either you sell your home now or they're going to take your home. And because of the forbearance, it's not that many people who have their home on the market, and they're not moving either. They're not doing anything. They're just stagnant. So all that money that is owed to those banks, those people are going to be coming after you. You have to make a decision to sit down with your family members, or if you got friends like this, and say, look, I was listening to Shirley's video, and she said, as a real estate agent, a real estate developer, she said that they are going to come after everybody for that past year and a half rent that they're telling people not to pay, or mortgage not to pay. So I want you to be more conscious of the reality of America for you. And I said that back in January in 2020. Yeah, I said to you, let's look at our own lives this year. And that was before COVID, because we can get distracted by politics and policies that don't even really help us move along. Gas has gone up again. It's a terrestrial world out there. And the question I want to say to you is, it's not going to change. So you have to change. You have to adjust your thinking to what is going on, because if you don't, then what's going to end up happening is you're going to be displaced. So if you don't see me do a lot of videos, because I'm trying to make my way through this maze as well, I don't have the money like a lot of these people who came out of nowhere and got all the claim and flame in the GOP world and the Republican world. And now they're getting all this money and they have no depth in their messaging. And then people expect me to put up all my time and energy into this. I won't. And I'm not going to give people material that they can continue to steal. And later on, I see it on their platforms restructured. I like the way I feel about this gentleman who I think originally wrote Coming to America. And then they rewrote the script and then they said that they created it. But obviously, whatever they created, they couldn't do it again. So it questions the validity of, did Eddie Murphy really even write the first Coming to America? And it doesn't even matter because we just wanted to enjoy a good film, right? We just wanted to get a good laugh. So I would encourage you to slow your roll, kind of look and see where this market is and where do you fit in it. Okay, feel good movies. My movie so far for the year, which is not a comedy, it's more of a drama. It's with Zendaya and it's with John Daniel And John Daniel, as you know, is what's his name, son. So my movie is what is it? Marie, Malcolm and Marie. I love that movie. I loved how it was shot. Okay, now this is what they did with this movie. This movie was shot in 2 weeks, and it cost them $30,000. No, it cost them $2,000 to make, $2 million to make. Well, I'm off tonight. It's late. That's why I'm talking crazy. It's $2 million to make, and they made 30 million on it. Two $2 million to make, and they made 30 million on it. They got quarantine and COVID together, and she said that then they made this movie. While they were making it, they had to shoot and reshoot and shoot and reshoot, and they were forced to put a great product out. The cinematography is good. The script is good. It starts you off in a way that it quiets you. That scene when it rolls in at the very beginning where the car pulls up. I mean, there's no spoilers. It's you just got to see that movie. So Malcolm and Marie, it is on Amazon. It's on no, it's on Netflix. So watch that one. That's my number two movie would probably be The Love of Sophie or Sylvia. I think that one is on Prime Amazon. It takes back in the 1960s. Oh my God! It stars Kerry Washington's husband, who was fine as hell. Um, Another great, great movie. Watch that movie. That movie will make you laugh. Okay, James in the room. Hey, James, how you doing? South Journey Bears in the room. Mr. Space Lisa in the move says spoilers. Yeah, I'm talking spoilers. I'm talking all over the place on from politics to movies to life. Shirley, I don't think it was wise to take the vaccine shot. Oh, now you pivot into the vaccine shot. What's your opinion on some of the people that take the new Johnson and Johnson vaccine shot? Okay, I will tell you that. Now, what's the next question? Is again, James says, I know you're right, Miss Shirley. America is changing right in front of our eyes. Uh, she's under judgment because of a non we didn't get compensation. No, we didn't get reparations from America. So listen, let me answer your first question. If you want to make it a question and answer show tonight, um, let's see. Hold on, some water. I would say I don't criticize people who feel more comfortable getting the shot. My cousin died of COVID last year, COVID-19. One of my oldest cousins, my first cousin that I know that I had a semi relationship with on my mother's side, passed away. And when they told me he had COVID, he had already had diabetes and all these other physical functions going on. So, and he lived in Riverside, California, which has a large immigration group of people. And his wife said she told him, please stop going to work because he was surrounded by a lot of people. And he didn't listen to her. He went to work because he just said, I'll be fine, I'll be fine. And when it hit him, his immune system was already down. So that was a red flag, number one. And he had all those other issues. And those were two, three, four, or five red flags. So when he got COVID, it put him in a coma. And it was just a matter of days before he finally passed away. So I can relate to COVID because I've had family member pass. My pastor just passed, as you guys know. Shout out to the Price family. Pastor Frederick Casey Price Sr. Was laid to rest this week. He was 89 years old, and I had been going there since I was 12. So my ass is old now because I've been going there since I was a little girl and grew up under his ministry and watched all his daughters get married and went to all their weddings and watched their children and their grandchildren's children born and just been part of that family's life for a long time and in our family's life for a long time. My mother was best friends with his mother. My mother spoke at Fred Price's mother's funeral. So I am well aware of the family and what they're going through and their loss. And it was also accredited to say that he died of COVID-19. Now, his wife and I agree that it was just his time to say, you know what I've done. And I believe that the pastor said, I'm ready to move on and go be with the Lord. I don't believe COVID took him out. I think it was a decision where the pastor and the Lord in situations at hand, he had other health issues as well. And they don't really talk about it, but she kind of does in the sermon she led Sunday before last. So you can go on the church's YouTube channel and you'll see Betty Price speaking instead of the son. and she shares a little bit about what went on with Pastor Price and Fred's health. So to answer your question, that was a long story, right? To answer your question, I think COVID vaccine works for other people and don't work for me. It doesn't work for me because I don't want to be the tester right now. I think it's too early to take this shot. I think that I need to see some other guinea pigs. I don't mean to be mean, and I don't mean to call anybody a pig, because I have friends who are doing it. You know, you got to take the first shot, and you got to take the second shot. And you said I'm 59. Now, I get it, bro. You know, we're up there, right? So, you know, especially after I saw what Hank Aaron died from it. Hank Aaron was like, "Oh, I'm so happy to take the shot. I want to be an example." He's getting interviewed. He's talking like this, and 11 days later, her brother dropped dead. And they don't say he died of COVID, but he died of complications, I believe, from this a shot in his body. So I find it just interesting. Here's a crazy virus that goes viral. People are dying left and right. And within a year, they come up with it, but they can't find a cure for cancer, allegedly, or these other diseases like that are out there, allegedly. So they have the answers, and they know that people are being healed from those other diseases. They just pick and choose of what they want to give people. So yes, if you take the shot, I don't criticize you for it. The numbers in Dallas and in Texas, I know, are going down. The people, as far as people going in checking to see if they have COVID, those lines are kind of disappearing, and more people are wanting to get more of the Johnson and Johnson shots. So, oh, you say you agree? Okay, so James says I agree. Miss Shirley, I don't take the vaccine shot. Right. I don't criticize people taking it, and I'm not going to take it myself unless I say, okay, I feel like I need to take it. I have this issue where I don't like people on me anyway, so I'm not going to hug and kiss you and touch you anymore. I used to love hugging people or shaking their hands or something. You know, I'm good if I don't touch you, and I'm good with personal space. I'm even today, you know, they were talking. I was talking to my son who's in Texas. Even though Texas has opened up, I know many people are going to still operate as if it isn't. They're still wearing masks. And I know some of the market people are going to be saying that they're not going to adhere to what the governor's saying. The governor's not telling them that they have to take the mask off. He's saying you have the option if you want to take it on and off. So let's see what happens with Texas and Mississippi before we throw a stone on a rock. We are becoming a country, listen to me, we are becoming a country that is dependent upon governmental systems, which makes us a socialist communist country. Keep that in mind. You don't want to lose your consciousness of life. What do I mean by that? Meaning that we know that we can lose our consciousness of life because we're not taking care of it ourselves. We're looking for government subsidies all the time and not really having a plan B. You need to have a plan B. If you get your checks, I got you. I get it. We all have to do what we got to do, but you got to have a plan B. You got to see either I'm going to invest this money or I'm going to take this money and then I'm going to pack my bags and move to some other state where it's much cheaper. I like California is so damn expensive right now. The problem with California, and I'll try to say this in a nutshell. You guys remember before COVID hit, we had Black Lives Matter. Like that was in 2019. And they were raiding places and they were tearing properties up. So we go from Black Lives Matter, and then these buildings like on Melrose and Beverly Hills and parts of downtown LA get all boarded up because of the Black Lives Matter and these people who are mad against God and whatever injustice for whatever, you know, and they get all this money and it really don't go to black people. That's a whole nother story. Then COVID hits. This is what the media is not showing you because I would post some pictures of LA on my Facebook page and then they would say it was a violation. The media and social media is suppressing photos of the reality of where we're at with this COVID and with the small businesses because those boarded up buildings now have graffiti all over them. So it's a really kind of like escape from LA movie scene throughout California. It is the most crazy shit you'd never want to see. And I personally have like put my time in and I'm tapping out. So if any of y'all want to go out down there, take pictures, do videos, I give you props. I'll even promote it on my page. But I'm not doing it because I did it enough back in 2016 all the way up to even Trump's administration, almost to the end of his administration. So, for those who have followed me over the years, I've repeatedly been very redundant about how the cities, especially in California, with the diseases and the homeless, was growing. And it's at a level now that I would never see my home state look this pitiful and this sad and this depressed. So a lot of people, the suicide rates are up, people are depressed, anxiety levels are up, and they're living in fear. Those are all works of the devil. Those are all works of the devil. So you have to get yourself out of that mental, physical, and spiritual oppression of the air that is in the world and say, God will never leave us nor forsake us. I am the greatness in Jesus Christ. I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. I'm highly intelligent. I get it done, job done. You have to speak goodness and life to yourself. And that's why we look for things like this movie I expected to be funny, which wasn't. We look to do things to move us to that next level, and we ought to, because if we don't have people to encourage us, your parents passed away like mine, and all the people who were your mentors, well, they're gone now. You're the mentor. You're the it, boo boo. You it. So you got to speak life to you. And then there be friends, they can't encourage you because they want to tell you all their problems. Hang them phone calls up too. Kick that brother and sister to the curb. I ain't got to hear your problems, don't want to hear them because I got my own issues I'm working with the Lord. So you want to say good and living things out of your mouth so that your life will turn around, because the world and the media and social media and the other people are going to be oppressed with craziness, and you do not want to be part of that. So, including as much as you can kind of masterfully digest as much talk of COVID-19, because that gets old. James says, I get food stamps on the 1st and the 15th. I got you, bro. That's okay. But you got to have a plan of action to get yourself out of the system. Because if you just going to depend on the 1st and the 15th, you're going to keep living like that. That ain't going to work. You need to collaborate. You need to find somebody else on the 1st and the 15th. At least 2 or 3 of y'all can put your money together and start saying, man, can we go out and maybe find a spot? Get out of California, get out of expensive ass states, get out of liberal states, get out of blue states. You know, kind of diversify your funds if you can live on both coastlines. You know, some of them in Texas, some of them homes are 40, 50, 60,000. And at 2%, that's a pretty good interest rate. Sometimes you can get to sell it to carry back the loan. That saves you a lot of money. Real Jersey Bear. I don't know what that means, James. The man hit by the car, thrown into the swamp, ate by alligators. Died of COVID-19. Yeah, I know. The dog with 2 whiskers and 1 tooth left died of COVID-19. Everybody dies of COVID-19, and nobody has the flu. Don't you find that funny? I find that funny. Everything seems to be dying from COVID-19. I know what you meant by that. That's kind of funny. Oh my God. Well, I plan on moving home soon. I'm a resident from Mississippi. Oh yeah, you need to take your ass back, nigga. Where the hell you doing living on Section 8 or whatever the hell you getting with your government food stamps? I ain't trying to hate on you. Okay. I'm not, I'm just trying to be a little motherly love to you. And if you got to go talk to that cousin Mississippi and kind of smile and grin until you can get back on your feet, or uncle or aunt, you need to put that self pride aside and get on a plane right now, go to Spirit and get that $23 ticket. They got them $23 tickets on Spirit Airlines. Get you a one-way ticket and get on that plane with them crazy Spirit people. I did it a lot. I do it all the time. I'll fly back and forth from Spirit to LA to Texas to Mississippi. And it's so cheap. They got people on there with pajamas. Now, I thought I'd never fly and see crazy people on an airplane with pajamas, but it is what it is. By the way, you need a backpack. Don't take no luggage because they charge you extra. Well, I have disabilities. I understand. I understand. It's all right. If anyone is watching this channel and you have disabilities, I'm going to tell you, I think we all have our own disabilities. That word is kind of overrated and underrated, because the people who don't think they have disabilities, they've got some kind of disabilities. So yours might be more than somebody else, but don't let nobody make you feel bad about your disabilities. Okay. You understand me? You listen to me. You hold your head up and you able to talk on this computer. You're able to put your fingers on these thing and talk to me. That's a ability that you have other people don't have. Some people ain't got no fingers or hands. Okay. So you got to slow your roll and write out the good and bad that you're going through. Here's the good side. Here's the bad side. Write 10 of those things out. And you should say, I'm getting off the system and I'm going to go stay with Aunt JoJo, even though that bitch works my nerves. She lives in Mississippi and she asked me to come to her house. She talks like crazy, but she's got a roof that I can stay for free. Take your ass to Mississippi. They got black people there. If you in California, we're down to 5.5% blacks. You don't need to say that. I never flew before. Oh, it ain't nothing. Go to Spirit. Don't take no luggage. Take a good bath. Go go to Spirit. Go to Spirit and go online and just find the dates of the cheap tickets. Right, you're not in no big rush, and get on that plane and go. It's like $23. You know, at least under $50. Right. So right, Shirley, home is where I got to go. Yeah, you got to go before that crash hit, because that crash is coming. Don't get it twisted. There's gonna be more homeless people. Hold on. There's gonna be more homeless people because people are not making the payments. And once the bank says the government's going to stop the forbearance, which is like the whole back of the wall, and they're going to say, go for it. Go ahead and start foreclosing on these people because they're not making payments. Oh, it's going to be on and cracking. It's not going to be too pretty. That's for sure. French Tutu, what you doing? So right. So right. Told me something so right. I thought you were James. Yeah, everybody need to go back home. Find you a good cousin, an uncle, a good friend. But if you're in a high, expensive, liberal state, California, Washington State, Nevada, New York, everybody moving back to the center of the earth. Too many illegals, too many immigrants, too many American rights being taken away from you to aid and abet other people. Aiding and abetting and treasonous acts are real. Elections were stolen, those are real, and I don't think they're going to stop. Until the American people rise for justice in this country, ain't nothing gonna change. So why even try? Okay, I got some more. I shot. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that she was shot in the neck. Ooh, that's terrible. Yeah, I would definitely say if I were you, you need to figure out a foundation and go back to where your home is. Okay, Herschel Walker has disabilities, and I don't know it. Oh, everybody got some kind of disability. I mean, that word is kind of underrated and overrated. People who think they don't, they lying. It's how you manage through them, right? It's how you manage through them. And whatever yours are, you ain't got to tell nobody. You sit back and say, okay, I'm in a disposition because of XYZ. So what I'm going to do is pivot to do AYZ. And you will still come out on top. But you have to believe in you. Because ain't nobody going to believe in you. They ain't not going to agree with you. They going to like you. If anything, they'll steal your stuff. That's what they do to me. So, half these people, I ain't going to give them all that energy. Oh, yeah. Well, like we have Joe, who has Alzheimer's, and Camilla Harris, Kamala want to be Black Harris. She want to be black. So all the black people who endorsed her, they just gave up their birthright. Descendants of slaves are the ones that built this country, and they're going to give up their birthright and call her black so that everybody can come over legally and illegal and say that they black so they can fall under the civil rights law. That's a whole nother conversation. So, hey, anyway, I don't think there's any more questions. Anybody got any more questions? Type them quick because I'm getting off this thing. But I don't know if I'll keep this video up either, but I just want you to watch that movie. I was really, like I said, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Coming America 2, please watch it. I think we could at least support Eddie in that. It has cameos all over the place. It was like, let's throw a cameo here. Let's throw a cameo there. Too many damn cameos. Script was not was not well written, and it didn't have as many funny. If you're a good comedian, you write really good scripts, and it seems more authentic towards the original in the sense that it was just funny, and it had short, funny lines, and this didn't have none of that. It was like, let's just bring back the little Jewish guy. Let's just bring back sexy chocolate. Let's just bring, and it's just like, it didn't even fit. It just didn't fit. It didn't make any sense. So watch that movie. I'll probably talk about it in another time. The upcoming videos, so that I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to probably talk about the mole people. So do your homework, MOLE. I'll be talking about them. And I'll also talk about the forbearance market and my projections of what could come if you are not prepared to deal with the forbearance market. Um, if you live in California, you need to sell your home. Go to caltexashome.com or email me. I'm a licensed realtor and I can't sell your home in California. If you need to move to out of state, if you're relocating, I specialize in relocating and I can help you through that process because you can spend a lot of money relocating if you don't know how to do that. And that's a whole nother video where we'll talk about migration and movement because that's important that we understand that as well. So anyway, let me see. Mr. Owen left. He had to leave. Okay, so everybody's asking me about T West. T West had to leave. Okay, right, he's on Twitch. So T West is on Twitch. I talked to T last week on the phone. So T West is on Twitch. As we all know, T is very thorough and he provides videos that give you relevant things to better your life and move you forward through life politically. What I'm finding with YouTube, that's why it's like I'm not trying to build this channel. Or if you guys watch it, fine. If you don't watch it in the world, let me tell you what's happening. They don't like black educated people. Now they won't tell you that, but I'm sorry. They like when we talk about each other. They like gossip channels. If you're black and you're in the gossip, they love you. If you do makeup, they love you. If you're transgender, bisexual, acorn, I say acorn. I'm gonna just make up stuff. Curtains, rod person, some any kind of crazy person, a sexual gender neutral person, they love you. But if you go on here and you're providing logic, numbers, facts, research, videos, um, all that information, they'll take your ass down. You get too deep, they'll take your ass down. Knock on wood, I'm still up for some reason. I think because I'm not as I mean, T was going real hard for a while. He was going really, really hard. And he's still going really hard. He's just doing it on Twitch. So for those who love Afro Synergy News, go watch him on Twitch. And go to afrosynergynews.com. I think you can go to his website too. But that's how you're gonna find T West because that's where he's at right now. And he's a good man. He provides good information, but they're not allowing his stuff to be out there because they don't want black people to know the real deal about this country and what's going on. Look, you're not going to get anything from Biden. You're not going to get anything from Kamala want to be Black Harris. And I told you, until we get an executive order and money that allows us to leverage within this country in a better facet, you're going to still have those disposition and portional numbers of black people and black families because white America, I'm gonna use white America again, the leaders in this country have not been fair enough. How are you going to give immigrants and illegals money and you're not helping black and African Americans? The Jews got money, the Latinos got money, the Native Americans got money. But then when we talk about African American descendants of slaves getting money allocated specifically towards us, they said, well, you can't segregate and you can't separate in that manner. What about the rest of the American people? So that's a pivot in a conversation where I said, I find it fascinating you pivot away from factual people who need this substance money, and yet you give it to other people and you never question their morals or their actions on what they're going to do with that money. So until America does this right and black people demand as a unit for righteousness, you can forget it. It's too many black people who are anti-black. All these foreigners who come here, they're black. They don't like descendants of slaves. All these actresses right now getting cast who are not descendants of slaves, like they cast that woman, well, they cast that Cynthia woman another role. That I'm like, there's black American women. Why did you not choose an African American woman? No, they tried all these English accents people, and then they drop the accent and they talk like they're from America. So there, it's almost like to me a mock where we are hiring black actors who are Africans, are black, but they're not descendants of slaves, right? And they speak like African Americans, but they're not African American. And the African Americans who aren't complaining. So what do I do with all that? You all want me to do videos, but then we're self-destructive. That's the way I look at it. You sit back and see black people who are talking bad about other black people and in Hollywood, it's got us tearing ourselves up. It's like slavery all over again. How you bought the slave from Africa and you put them on a ship, and then you bought them from one tribe, and then that tribe gets bought up after they sold the tribe that they should have allied to get that white man out of their country. So some of those antics to me still continue on today. Well, we got these people coming over here and they're benefiting and we're not. And eventually we all get thrown under the bus. So hold the bus, hold your thoughts as you watch this video. And I want you to write down the good and bad of what you need to do affirmations to fix your bus. Because the overall bus ain't moving too well. And it ain't gonna move at all through this administration because he has not allocated any funds or any rights of empowerment to us. Everybody's just happy to get a brown skinned woman as vice president. That is the most ghetto and lame solution to the problems in America, especially Black America, that I've ever heard before. That just because she's in office, you're expecting something to happen great. And it's not. Because Kamala wanted to be Black Harris when she was a senator in Los Angeles, in California, in Sacramento. I would go to her office. No, I went to her office. And when she had her office, either when it was there or was in DC, I went to her office. She has the transgender flag outside, looking like My Little Pony. Remember how they pander after children? Like the LGBT do the rainbow because they know kids love multiple colors. And that's the lesbians and the gays. They do the rainbows. The transgenders do kind of like the My Ponies with the pinks and the lavenders and the white. These are to cater towards drawing children in and manipulating your children, your grandchildren, your great-great-grandchildren. So again, if you're not conscious of how America is taking your energy to focus on that, which is irrelevant, let them do what they do. Turn that off and get your life together. Get your life together and ignore all that madness. I'm not lying because that shit is distracting. And it's like, oh no, you're not distracting me if you like to do My Little Pony and hop on all these different crazy ass ponies. That's some bullshit. I ain't doing that. I said, who else is out here? I'm trying to end and y'all keep popping in. I agree with Miss Shirley. James said, Kamala want to be at Black Harris, don't like Black Americans. And I stand by that 100%. Because she was a prosecuting attorney. How many Negroes did she put in jail? That's a whole nother conversation. Okay, fabric a ton unlimited one. Child, what was you thinking when you made that long ass name on your YouTube channel? You definitely want to be different. You like them people who had them kids. Hold on, I drink some water. Y'all name your kid Latina, Latasha, Lacana, Martina, Canana. I'm like, why y'all done name that little nigga that name? Ain't nobody can see, write, or read. And then when you get what's your name? What's your name? I met this girl, her name was just Cynthia. So it was the name Cynthia, which we all are familiar with, like Cynthia married Betty. Okay, I got that. But her name was just Cynthia. So it was J-A and then Cynthia. And so it sounded like she was saying, like she was being sarcastic, like, my name is just Cynthia, okay? I'm like, it's just Cynthia? Like, that's it? She says, no, it's just Cynthia. So she said, just call me Cynthia. Well, her mother was getting creative, see? So anyway, I'm making fun of how you named your name. Okay, let me stop. You said you agree. I appreciate that. They have humor around them. Okay, that's true. I agree with that. A lot, la. Look, we all trying to stand out in our own way. The key question is, are we standing out? Are we standing in our own way? Are we doing things that put us in positions that disposition us? And if we find that we're doing that, we need to make those corrections. I'm always making corrections. Emotionally, physically, financially, I make corrections. I try to gravitate towards people who pray and believe for goodness for me, and I pray and believe for goodness for them, for health and for sound mind. These are the people that you want to have around you. Oh, that's his name. Theodore. CD's Theodore is the name. Okay, all right. So anyway, I think that's it. I appreciate all who came on and listened. I'm just rambling tonight. I don't know if I'm going to leave this video up, but I probably will bring somebody in and we'll talk about that tired ass movie. If I had paid to see this movie, I'd have been pissed because this movie ain't even worth $3 to me. I just sat there and said, okay, I'm getting tired. I'm tired. This movie was just not cutting it. It was too many damn cameos. I'm like, what's this purpose and what's that purpose? I know I'm being redundant with that, but that's basically it was. It was just a run on of cameos. And then the storyline was not all that great. And then when he went to get his son to come back from going to America to marry one of his people, and I would have been like, if that girl's going to be so wise and then consulting with him, she said she was just going there for a check herself. If you think about it, if you really loved him, you would have said, baby, hold on. You run away from your family. You need to face this. I love you, but you need to face this. I mean, she started off so wise being a hair cutter, but she was wise. And at the end, she came out like she was coming in for a check. Like, hell, he didn't flew me out on a royal jet and he wants to marry me. I ain't going to say nothing. I'm going to go ahead and go for it. But if she was really this woman who cared about his well being, she would have told him, you need to confront your father or something like that. That's why I said the damn script wasn't written well. You said bootlegged. Sending you love, Shirley from the Bay. Hey, how you doing, baby? Love my folks that's out there from the Bay Area. Ooh, you going through hell. If y'all ain't know about what's going on in San Francisco, ooh, that's a shithole down there. Poor people, poor people, poor state. Just throughout the state, I just pace myself. You go to the store and then you go home and step over everybody. That whole industry is just a lot. That's why I'm always flying back. I'll be in Texas and then I'll be back there. It's a lot. And if we show you the videos and photo, they're taking them down on social media. They're just taking them off, which is crazy, which is cray. All right, I'm giving you 2 more minutes. Anybody else have anything to say? Have any questions? And if you want me to do video, you have to message me on Instagram. And if you ask me, someone asked me what happened to Twitter, my Twitter account. Well, the president got taken down, and so did your queen. Took me down too. Well, in my opinion, until us as black people start to love one another and stop smiling on each other, post face, and stand together and unite together. Like T. West said, we don't have the numbers. We don't have the numbers. I don't care about smiling and grinning and you being my friend. I think there needs to be an agenda that is very clear that we back. Period. Because there's still people I'll never get along with, and they're ADOS. I had some ADOS people I scratch my head and go, really, nigga? No, I'm good. So, no, I don't think I have to be friends with you, but from a political, social, financial, overall embedment for the culture of the people, I believe that we can become united. And I agree with you. We need to stop all the phoniness. But I don't think black people are phony. I think they're just jealous. And they're just ratchet in some things that they do. You know, she thinks she's all that. I can do this and I can do it better. And she thinks she's cute, or he thinks, I'm just ain't got no time for that. Too old. I'm not putting all that energy in there. Somebody was earlier talking about shots. I'm not doing all that. Either you do the shot or you don't do the shot, but I'm not going to step up the bullshit that's out there. Black people have to help themselves first. And we need money to leverage. We need to leverage to be able to do businesses and then deal with the lower scale folks that need to be employed, and then let those who are able to create wealth and businesses be able to lead and get sources to do that. And until we do that, we will be still a disposition and a leverage against culture of people, because we don't have those same financial latitudes that the government allot other people that they're not allotting towards us. You said, question, how do rich people tell poor people how much money they need? And, every ruler feels, I have the same when people think, when they talk about race or richness, every being feels that they're the superior being. So write that down. Every being feels that they're superior. One being feels that they're better than the other being. So if you feel that you're better than everybody, you think you can tell somebody what to do. That's just how you're going to feel. If you're the person that's subjected to that, it's how you respond and give energy back to that. And we all are the subjected character in every scenario, one day or another in life. So the question is, how do you respond back to that? So your question says, how do rich people tell poor people how much money they need? I think the poor person needs to determine how much money they need and ignore how much the rich person is telling you that. But if you're on Section 8 or WIC, or you're getting your COVID money and you're not preparing for the cutoff in any parts of these systems, then you're in this grander delusional living, in my mindset, where it's nothing wrong with taking the money. You just need to have an exit strategy. And you can't wait to rich people who give you the money, which is the government, to make those decisions for you. And then all of a sudden you get cut off and you're screwed. You as an individual have to say, okay, I am now at a point, I know in X amount of time, they're not going to be giving me this money. I need to have a plan B. So rich people can't dictate over you unless you give them that power. Don't give your power to something like that. We'll start. We'll never had. I don't know if I agree with that. I think there's a generation that is approaching politics and life in a different facet. I think my generation, being older than most people who follow me or around my age, realized we were given the story of work real hard, get married, or go work real hard, go to college, get your degree, do all the sorority stuff. Some people got married, some people didn't have children, and all this is going to come together because you went and got that degree. Well, there's many people who got these degrees who are homeless, who work with people who don't have degrees, who didn't get any certifications, who didn't get anything that puts them in a position where they're making money. Degrees do not position you to make money, it gives you a degree. What you do with that degree makes a difference. But I'm of that generation that were basically telling people you should go out and get your degree. This new generation is very visually conscious when we talk about kinetics. We're talking about neurological programming, NLP. Look up NLP and then you'll understand it later. So if we look at NLP, neurological programming, feel, touch, taste, hear, we are very visual. That may not be a real driving force, but everybody has become visual. So when you people want to clarify a little or to find out if you are telling them the truth or not, and you'll say something, they're Googling it. I got I won't say a family member I'm kind of not related to, but kind of related to. And I would find it interesting if I said something, they would Google it to verify my truth. And I'm going like, oh, so you don't believe me. You have a doubt of who you're talking to and dealing with. Note to self, that's your flaw, not mine. I put my homework in. I know what I'm talking about, but I've done my research. But there are a lot of that generation that don't. So they kind of question more than my generation. And that's kind of good in some way. So I think there's a generation that is emerging of questioning and demanding. And even though that generation will deal with the crises and the circumstances of it, because no one's talking about a lot of the leaders of BLM have died. A lot of these kids who are on the front line all of a sudden have disappeared, and the media is not talking about that. But there's other people like the liberal white women who have profitized off of this, and other liberals who have made profits off of this. So there's some question on that. So I think time will tell. I don't know the real answer for that. I hope that kind of helped you with the question you asked me. Well, y'all coming in with a whole bunch of questions all of a sudden. Okay, love my folks. Well, before I answer your question, I answered that one. Oh, tell me. Okay, I answered. Okay, so the next one is love my folks. Can you do a future video about the political landslide of Texas? And do you think Black folks can mobilize in Texas? I think Black people can mobilize everywhere. So with Urban Game Changers, we were doing that. We didn't have the resources backing us. They backed other people like, Charlie Kirk, who, as I won't say loud, lovely. What's her name? Tree of Logic would say. She called him Master Charlie. He get these people and pay for these kids to be flown to DC and be able to meet with the president, and they just want to do selfies. So it's the quality of Black mobilization that I question, because you have Blacks who all of a sudden these white people will pick and choose who they want to be the frontline visual face and voices for us. But I question their ability of execution to mobilize and bring people in. that's going to have to start by real grassroots leaders. And I think that's going to probably fall under the next generation. There's too many people of my generation who are just loyal towards the soil of losingness, of losers, meaning like the Democrats and the liberals and the Obamas and all that other stuff. They're just really loyal to that. And they're so brainwashed. T. West would say they're brainwashed. And he would say, sure, you have to understand they're brainwashed. And, well, that's not my job to try to unbrainwash people. That's too much. Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, look at the demographics of blacks in very high demographical areas. Those states have that. So there's an opportunity, but the blacks in those states don't understand how bad the blacks are having it on the West Coast. That's also another problem where if I talk to someone in the South, I'll tell them what's going on with the blacks in the West Coast. They're like, really? Is that bad? Because the media won't show that. So until there's a visual and a personal understanding of that, then yeah, you're not gonna see that. See who else? Hold on. Okay, Miles says, thank you for your work and information of producing and helping Black people. As a Black performer and Los Angeles residents, I know all your speaking and we've done in Los Angeles. I moved to, is that Long Beach, California, LBC, in 2000, and it was 57% Black, and today it's at 9%. Overall, statewide, California is at 5.5. Maybe in that area is 9%, but the statewide number is 5.5. So I find that kind of interesting that people don't realize how bad it is. I grew up in Los Angeles, and we did have a lot of Black people, a very large percentage of Blacks, and now we don't have that now. Los Angeles look like old Mexico. Los Angeles look like Tijuana. It don't look like old Mexico. It look like Tijuana. Take your ass off Tijuana, James. That means Tijuana, for those who are saying, what the hell is she saying? Well, Miss Shirley, I'm out. God bless you. God bless you, James. James, you kept me talking because I would have been gone. My ass would have been off here. I'm out. Hopefully I can catch up with you next live stream. You always speak positive and uplift the Black community. I try to lift up all communities. It's the same thing with Black History Month. Black History Month is needed because it's not Black History Month, it's American history. And we need Black History Month because the corporate America and federal government as a whole in the educational aspect of Black Americans' contribution is being rewritten or erased. It's being rewritten in terms of people of color and the inclusiveness of change. And then they bring these dark people in and talk about the history. That's not America. America is very clear. It's made by Black and white colonists. And the Black people that built this country, contribute to this country, should have their month because they need to have that part of the educational aspect to be incorporated in white people. They don't have it. I was watching some religious show and they were talking about they didn't know that Black churches were bombed in the 60s. I'm like, what are you people, delusional or something? That was only 50 years ago. Don't you read history? Didn't your parents teach you? No. Their parents didn't teach them because it was nigger history. I can't talk. It was Black people's history. It wasn't theirs, but it was their history. Washington Carver and all the inventions that white people had benefited from, the medical devices that white people have benefited from, created by Black people because of Black Americans who contribute towards America. So Black history needs to be interjected because of white history not incorporated in everyday history, which is American history. I think people know that. Okay, I got one more I'm gonna read and I'm out of here. Hold on, get some water. Hold on. I'm reading James. James, I thought you were gone. You came back and asked another question. Here on the West Coast, the police, your bankers, your city council meeting, and the Latino communities is not for the Black people here on the West Coast. Well, I don't know if you've been following me, but I told you a video in 2016 was 15, which was 6 years ago. They were putting, I can't believe it's been that long. Wow. Since 2015, they were putting illegal immigrants on city councils and letting them volunteer. And we were adamant about this in Huntington Park and Huntington Beach. No, Huntington Park. Huntington Park. And you remember that the city of Vernon Bell, where the city council got in trouble because they were stealing the money. And those were all Latino people, and they were raising up the utilities. It's so much corruption. And then I talked about how in Sacramento, how the city council was paying the gang members $1.5 million in cash. Yeah, y'all do all that Googling. And then tell me what you think about that. So it's just corruption everywhere. You can't fix that by yourself. We're not a one-man show. And if we think we can, and taking all your energy towards, please. Boy, I'm telling you, food, water, and shelter. If you're watching this video and you don't own a house, you don't have a plan for a shelter, and you don't know how you're going to get your next meal, and you focusing on Bitcoins, and you focusing on transgender, and you on Facebook, and you on your cell phone, and you're looking for the next gossip thread, you're a loser. You're a loser. Sit back and get simplistic basics in your life. Food, water, and shelter. Humble and take your ass to your aunt and your grandma's house or whoever. Get your hand off the street. Stop living by yourself and go to her and say, look, I'm paying too much rent, or look, I'm sleeping on the street. I'm jumping from couch to couch. Can me and you work together? Some of y'all got to be eating some crow and some pride to get yourself together. We all have had to do it. I've had to do it. You can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it too. Okay, Miles says Southern California, where we'll be TJ B2. Oh, wait a minute. You got me speaking over myself. He said we'll be TJ in Tijuana soon. Bruh, let me help you out. We ain't Tijuana. We are Tijuana. We're not going to be. We have become. Compton, Long Beach, Inglewood, all have been taken over. Absolutely. It's all been taken over. Samoans, I don't know what happened to them. They couldn't even push some of the illegals out. There's new black policies. The old black people, they sold out. Them old black people been sold out people. BHM must take back, or it will be POC month. I don't know what's POC month or Gay History Month. Hey, Black History, BLM is not led by black people. Y'all know that, right? Black Lives Matter is not. They don't care about black people. Because if Black Lives Matter really care, why did all of a sudden we're not talking about it now? You got your liberal president. He's in office. Why don't they have a voice? You remember he had that meeting on the phone and he didn't even talk to them. Good night, James. You remember he didn't even give him any energy. So Biden ain't giving BLM energy. What can we do? Your video on Paper Sun was excellent. Thank you so much. I'm surprised they let us stay up. Wasn't that a good video? Even I watched it again. I said, When I talked to those people, I said, okay, you probably one of them children of the Paper Sun, which means you illegal too. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, these people are victims. I commented on LinkedIn about an article by the LA Times, and Chinese people feel victim and they're being attacked, and black people attacked and Chinese people. I said, these people are some bullshit. When that black girl got shot in the back by that Korean woman or where the hell she was from. Remember back in the 80s? Come on. Black people, and how these people would come in. That one beauty shop, that hair shop. Y'all look at that story of how because Koreans control all the hair industry, not the Chinese. It's more the Koreans. Chinese play that part too. But the Koreans open up all these beauty salons all in the Black Hood areas, and black people stop buying from black people and they buy from them. So, like I said, until blacks help blacks, it's a lot of work to do because they're not buying from. We don't buy from each other. We buy from all these other people. The video needs to be highlighted on your channel. Certain things I don't highlight because I don't want it to be getting too much attention. I mean, if people really like me and love me, they're going to watch the videos. They're going to realize I had depth. I think sometimes love me folks, I'm concerned. I did a Rothschild video and I try to label it something else. So that way when they watch it, they'll say, oh my God, this is kind of deep. Yeah. If I talk bullshit, then, like I talk about other people, then it would get a lot of views. So I'm really looking for more quality than quantity. If I get quality people watching my videos and listening to me talk, And sometimes I'm rambling because I'm really rambling tonight. I'm not really doing anything tonight. I would appreciate that. So if people share my name and put good words out, and someone great wants to come in and put a check, that'd be great. But there's a lot of good information I love to share, but I'm not gonna make myself a target because right now, with all these crazy ass liberals running this country and how they went after them people because of January 6th, and a lot of those people I knew are out there. And I remember they were asking, "Are you going?" I'm like, "Hell no, I'm not going there. I'm black. I ain't going out there." That's my whole line now. When people ask me, "Are you gonna do that?" I said, "No, I'm black." Or ask somebody white. They think I'm being racist. And when I say that, people say, "What does that mean?" That means y'all have treated me like a bad Negro child. You ain't paying me no money, not compensating me for my time, and you're trying to make me a target. And you need a loud voice. And you think, well, she's black and loud. Let's put her out there and make her life be subject to this Caesar. Oh no, honey, the queen will keep her ass quarantined in her crazy ass state and let you do what you do and put yourself out there, boo boo. You love your Candace Owens. Put her out on the front line. Where was that bitch at? She's just doing her shows. Tell her to get out there and go out there screaming up and down the streets. No, y'all treat her like a queen. And then the real queens and the fighters on the front line don't get recognized. So no, that answer is clearly a no, 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 no. So certain videos I do and other things I just said, I'm not putting myself on the front line. But it's good to know that people like love my folks identify the good videos. When can to see the new video, you need to go to what is that? Prime, Amazon Prime. It ain't that good. I know I pivot all off this movie now. I'm not probably gonna take this video down, but anyway. James says, P.S. The Democrats love themselves. Some illegal immigrants, because they do. It makes you wonder. We've always said that they're trying to replace us. Illegals do not assimilate. For those who are not in California, they don't assimilate. They don't associate. They want to be their own entity in this world of America. And they want all the benefits of the previous people who built it. And then they want the credit for all the previous people who built it. And then they want to move everybody out of the way and lead it. And that's where they don't realize white America ain't gonna let them do that. But I could be wrong because I've been saying that for a long time. And it seems like there's a lot of white people who are letting these foreigners have more power than them over them. AKA, look what happened. They let him, Kamala want to be Black Harris become vice president. So there you go. Explain that one to me. I still don't understand why people like Nancy Pelosi and etc. Why people like this don't get impeached. Lobbying from foreigners and illegals. I don't understand why the Insurrection Act was not enforced. The word insurrection was pulled out of content when it came to the impeachment trials, trying to say that the people were acting in an insurrecting manner. That was not applicable to what that word was done. An Insurrection Act is an act signed by the President of the United States that basically empowers the military to take over because they said that we have been invaded on. And President Trump did not do that. And if he did sign that, he didn't enforce that. So maybe history books in the future will tell us why. There are many treasonous people in this country who are not getting prosecuted, and we don't know why. But we know one thing, that there are people targeting people. And so I kind of stay out of the limelight for all that. You have rambled on. I'm just happy to hear you. I miss you. I don't know where you're missing me. There's a lot of other folks out there. I agree. Shirley has been a lion for Black Southern California. I'm tired. I'm sorry if I'm reading over myself. Who has been abandoned for so long, called leaders. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Got so much sweet love. You're gonna make me cry. Thank you so much for your love to me, because people don't love me. I don't think people love me. I think there are people who appreciate me, and then there's other people, they just want you to post pictures all day, and I don't feel like doing that either. I give a rat's ass about all these pictures putting up when you got people just hurting, and I'm tired. This stuff is wearing to see. What happened to Venice Beach is just unpathetic. And in California, not in the beach where you walk up and down the boulevard. Oh, it's a mess. I got friends in the entertainment industry because I'm from California. I told them, y'all gonna have fun with trying to find some decent B-roll. And they're gonna be using the same B-roll edit it in different manners, because you can tell me you guys are able to move forward in the entertainment industry and have all this nasty B-roll. It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense. You're not going to show B-roll because you can't shoot it. How you going to shoot cities in LA when you got homelessness bombarded everywhere? It's just too obvious. And then your leaders don't say they're trying to fix it. They're just saying, let's just throw checks out to people. And the rents are enormous. And it's just really sad. So you can only do what you can do. You got to fix your own life first. Put the oxygen mask on yourself. Yes, she is. I wish I discovered Shirley earlier. She has been so accurate. Well, thank you so much, love. I appreciate that. Um, Go back and watch the old videos. A lot of that stuff is applicable. Go watch the one where I said Omarosa buffoonery, and you want to know what happened with blacks? It started with her. We didn't get anything, and then you'll see how President Trump tried to talk to blacks first, and then the Latinos, they had the shit together. So props out to the Latina coalition and the Asian coalitions. These coalitions that are out there, they're getting subsidized. They have money leveraged towards them because they're organized. We're not. There's too many inside traders and too many insiders who are against black people, and they're plants. They're plants by the enemies to keep us divided and divisive towards each other. To the point now, a lot of white people say, "No, don't worry, they'll destroy each other before that we have to step in and give them anything." And I think President Trump was told that, and he saw that, and he started to take his energy somewhere else. So if he gets back in office in 2024, we will see, question mark. Trump 2024. Trust me, it's definitely coming. All right. The whole Bay Area has homeless people everywhere along the freeway. And oh yeah, the freeways are bad. They're pushing them in the freeways. I'm telling you, look up the mole people. Y'all need to write that down. The mole people. Write that down. I haven't done a show on it yet, but there'll be people who are underground. Look up the mole people. These are people who are living in your sewers. And now they talking about letting more people in this country when they got people living in sewers. That's going to congregate more viruses and diseases. And they're going to come from America next time. We talking about coming from China. They may come from America because of America's irresponsible acts towards their fellow man. You know, continue to pray. Pray for America. Pray for this country. Pray for yourself. Use wisdom in your words. You know, eat right, live right, and stay woke in your own situation. So before you throw a stone at somebody else and you're not focusing and fixing you, you're gonna have some issues. And trust me, we all get distracted. We all get distracted. When they're talking about that cat in the hat, I didn't even read any of the articles. I didn't give a rat's ass. I'm like, I'm not focusing on this. This is a bait and switch. This is a bait and switch. We were talking about saving America. We were talking about making America great again on the previous administration. We were talking about import, export, and stop allowing jobs to be taken away. In the previous administration, we were talking about building a wall and stopping diseases and people who wrongfully, illegally here coming in. Now we're just on la conversations. We're talking about the cat in the hat. We're talking about transgenders. We're talking about gays. Um, we're talking about, let's talk about Trump, even though Trump's not president anymore. Let's continue to try to find another way to impeach a man who's not impeachable because he's unconstitutional to try to impeach a man who's not in office anymore. So you just rather waste more of an American people's time and tax dollars. This is what you're getting under this administration. So if you know that they're not going to move you forward, you got to move yourself forward. Like I said earlier, who's watching this video, write down Ken McElroy. I call him Mick Elroy, but it's spelled like Mick Elroy. But it's Ken McElroy. He talks about finances and the future of America. I love him. Meet Kevin. Watch that one. T West is on Twitch. Go to Twitch and you'll find T West. That's where he's at. People ask me all the time, where's T West? He's on Twitch. And of course, go ahead and watch Brother Phil Scott out of Houston, Texas, and see what his news channel's doing. So we still have people on the front line who are providing great information. I watch them. I learn from them. And if I feel there's a missing component, I will come in and do a video and share that opinion on that. But in most cases, a lot of things that all these people are saying are right on point, and I would have said it that way or a little bit better, but it's still the information is getting out there. So I want to encourage you, Make your morning routine or your weekly routine to follow some of these people I share with you, and don't get stuck and stupid, and don't be so lax that something that may not happen to you. Be conscious so that you see the wind shift and that you're able to deal with the wind shift. You'll be able to duck when the trees fall. You'll be able to move forward when the birds are flying one way, you can still fly another. So this is kind of like, it's a maze, it's a dance, it's a prance that you do in life right now. And that's what you have to do under this administration. You know gas is going to be going up, inflation is going to be going up. You've got to do that dance, and just don't take it for granted that you can have a steady income and it's going to compensate, because of inflation, your compensation may not be enough, and you didn't do enough dance to help you prepare for this because you weren't conscious. Hopefully this video, when you're watching it, you're saying, it surely helped me have a dance, so I was ready to bob and not get hit by that tree, and then move towards the right and not get hit by that car. You know what I mean by, I mean situations in life, good, bad, or indifferent. And sometimes I will say one more thing too. Don't argue with people that don't add value to your life, because everybody's got an opinion. And some of these people might mock you because you might be a Trump supporter and Trump didn't win. Don't give energy to that. Pivot and start talking about something else. Talk about the weather. Talk about sports. Talk about somebody's shoes. Talk about purses. I don't care. Just don't let them go on rants on issues that you just go, this is my opinion. I'm going to stick to my opinion. And I think you're a fucking idiot. Because I got family members like that too. I go, I think you're an idiot. I truly think you're an idiot. So, but I'm not going to say that. And then they say, well, don't you want to talk about this? I said, no, I don't think you're worthy of my conversation. Usually I'll say something crazy like that. And they're like, it pisses them off. I'm like, please, you're so beneath me. I don't give a rat's ass. Let's talk about something else. Don't you want to talk about? No, I do not. Follow me online. Write me something. Show me that you're worthy of my conversation. As I feel. Otherwise, I'm not going to put out energy where it doesn't have any valid or any merit to be reciprocal. Life is about reciprocity. And sometimes people don't want to be full of reciprocity. They don't want to give back. But they're good at sucking you like some kind of damn vampire. Bitch, keep it moving. I'm not interested at all. How do I feel about the NAACP suing Trump? Oh, yeah. Well, they were suing Trump way back. Oh, God. When was the last time I went to that stupid conference? Y'all remember when I did that video thing? They got almost 100,000 views while I was at that conference and I yelled at those ministers. Long story short, NAACP don't give a rat's ass about Trump. They're liberals. They're Democrats. They don't like Republicans. They don't believe in capitalism. They got too many government subsidies and government programs that are giving them money to keep them suppressed. Suppressed groups, I'm not going to give any more energy to it. If you know it's NAACP or the CBC, Congressional Black Caucus, call it a day and focus on you. Don't worry about what the groups are doing. They all hate Trump. We all know that. What else is new? If they're not going to support him or believe in him, what else is new? Hell, they don't support or believe me and you. So what difference does it make? Find your road, stay in your lane, and make it move. Make it move. That's it, folks. It's going to be a wrap. I'll come back in a couple of days or a week or two. If you do want me to do something of good judgment, as far as other videos, please make your comments after the show while it's fresh in your mind. So that tells me, oh, Shirley, can you do a show on this? Oh, Shirley, what do you think about this? Please make your comments at the back of this video to tell me what you think we should be doing in the next quarter. Because we're already through the first quarter of this year. Can you believe it? Time is moving fast, and many states are very heavily quarantined. I don't think this thing is going anywhere. I think there will be more masks for the next 2 or 3 years. And then it'll get to the point that it'll be volunteer, like within Texas. Texas is trying to go through time. I think they'd rather be the first testers. Let's see how this weighs out. I know a lot of people in Texas are saying businesses are still going to allow their employees to wear masks, and people still will be wearing masks. But we do have to eventually try to find some normalcy, and some states are taking that risk. So pray for those states and pray for the people within those states, like Mississippi and Texas. And then pray that California finds a way to reassess itself and allow the people to come back to life. Fight the spirit of depression. Let me just pray for those who are online with me before I hang up. Father God, I come before you right now in the name of Jesus, and I pray for the people who are listening to the sound of my voice. I have to drink some water. Hold on. My mouth is dry tonight. Hold on. I'm going to pray for you guys. Okay. Whew. Father God, I come before you right now in the name of Jesus. I'm praying in the spirit. Oh, I want you guys just to breathe with me. Everybody just breathe right now. I want you to inhale and I just want you to breathe. Father God, I come before you right now in the name of Jesus. There's a lot of people who are hurting, they're frustrated, they have anxiety, they're worried, they don't have answers, they don't have direction, they need money, they need food. They're days away from being in a very, very uncomfortable situation. And Lord, I say to you, be a steward of your word, because your word says you'll never lead us nor forsake us. You said to say into the mountain, which is a situation in our lives, be thou removed and be thou cast in sea, and do not doubt in the heart. And we know that you'll not forsake us or leave us. And so we say into the situation of whatever any of us are going through, we give it to God. And that we realize that we are not Jesus. We are not perfect, but we are not the Christ. And until we learn to let go and let God, we are not going to be able to move forward. And we don't adhere to worry and fear. So I just pray in Jesus' name, Lord, that we all, as I pray for them, I pray for myself, that we all do not adhere to fear, worry, frustration, and dictatorship of government, to socialism, to communism, to Marxism, to things that are not going to allow us our self-freedom and liberties that we need for that generation to come and the generation to be. Lord, I ask you to give each person who of the sound of my voice who's watching and listening, to give them favor with you. Give them favor with man. Give them favor at their jobs, that something good will happen for someone who's listening right now in the name of Jesus tomorrow. You're going to have a turning point in your life because you're confessing it, you're believing it. So, Lord, I know it also says that by your stripes we are healed. And the people who are in pain of sickness, disease, unhealthy limbs and loads and cancers or whatever may be in their body, Father, in the name of Jesus, we believe that you are healing them right now, that you're helping them with their family members who may not be getting along with them. You're helping them with having a job or a coworker or a boss that they don't like, Lord. I ask that you help them through those processes. And if they are in a situation where they're just tired of being alone, they're tired of talking to the walls. We're all kind of tired of talking to screens and situations, Lord. Let us lean not unto our own understanding. Let us lean towards you. Let us recognize you've not left us. You're not forsaken us, that we think on things which are good, which is just, which is lovely, which are a good report, Lord. In the name of Jesus, I ask that those at the sound of my voice that are listening will do that for themselves. Put that oxygen mask on themselves. I must put the oxygen mask more on myself. And some people may not understand that, and it's okay because I need my me time. The people on this video who are listening, they need their me time. Let's breathe again. Sometimes we just need to breathe. We don't need to have the answers to everybody. We don't have to be the fixer. You don't have to be the fixer. You don't have to be a person that feels that you have to be one of authority or to be abused and talked down to because you don't have the answer, to make feel stupid and dumb because you don't have the answers, because your president didn't win, because your policies and your politics and your party didn't win. or your situation in life doesn't look winning to everybody else because you told them you were the cat's meow and it didn't work out. That's an old statement. I want you to realize you are a wonderful person, that God loves you, He's forgiven you, and you need to forgive yourself. And I need to forgive myself, and I forgive you. It's okay. You breathe and you said, Lord, forgive me of my sins. So I ask that you help them through this process. And Satan, we bind your powers in the name of Jesus. You have no authority over our mind or spirit or our body. We rebuke you. We rebuke your spirit of fear and worry and frustration and anxiety and sickness and plagues and dry mouth and dry minds. We rebuke you. We don't receive you. We know that God has not forsaken us. We are children of God. We're vessels of God. And we are of His bloodline and of His strength. Our land, our property, and our children are protected by the blood of Jesus, the human living sacrifice that Jesus gave His life for us. For those who don't know Jesus, you need to start asking and ask Jesus to come into your life and become your Lord and Savior. You need to have more balance and stop fighting God. God is opening up doors for a lot of us, but we fight God. We're pushing back. We're trying to do our thing. I got to do me. I got to do me. It ain't about you, boo boo. Because this virus and this quarantine and this financial situation we all have fallen under has made us look at the corona mirror. It's a mirror. And who are you looking at? You're looking at yourself. So stop fighting yourself. Stop fighting the doors and opportunity of blessings that want to come your way because you think it needs to be done this way and it could be done the other. Let's find the right maze to walk through. And Lord, I ask in the name of Jesus, you provide that clear maze to go through, like when we were kids and we would have to look down on the ground because we would walk through these mirror mazes and couldn't figure out which way to get out. And we would find ways to cheat. Lord, you told us, look down, look at your feet and see someone that's already walked before you so you can learn from that. Scripture says to humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord and He will lift you up. God can't lift none of us up. We got too much ego going on. We know everything. So we ask right now in Jesus' name that we learn to humble ourselves, learn to be quiet, be slow to anger, and not absorb the negative energy. Watch our energy distribution and watch the energy that people are trying to put up on us. Because I have gone through it where I just say, I don't receive that. And you can take that right on back. I don't receive that. I rather receive the latter of good because I lean not unto my own understanding. Understand that. Stop leaning to your own understanding. Let's breathe one more time. Find that quiet space. Find that quiet space. Even if everything is noisy around you, I don't care what's going on. You need to quiet your mind. Quiet your mind in a noisy room. Quiet your spirit in a noisy room and learn to hear the voice of God. I ask God to bless you through all that you do. In Jesus' name, amen. I hope that helps somebody. Help me. I love y'all. Y'all good people. Y'all got good ideas. You got good thoughts and good minds. You got to believe it because nobody's going to believe it for you. It's a wrap, folks. I'll talk to you real soon. Keep your head up and stay in prayer.